We just saw American Sniper, and on this show, I take my friends, we go see a movie, we review it in the car, and then we have a discussion. The review part is spoiler-free, so if you're on the fence and trying to decide if this is the movie for you, you can watch that part without spoilers. And if you've already seen the movie or don't care to and just want to know everything we thought and don't mind having some plot spoilers in there, watch the whole thing. So, American Sniper is finally out in wide release. I guess there were some places that got it back on Christmas Day. This is the first showing of it around here. It's a very, 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 very good film. Clint Eastwood directed it. He did a fantastic job. The editing is really good. The story is really good. Bradley Cooper is very good. The pacing is great. It's a 2-hour movie that needs to be a 2-hour movie. You know, it's not something that's stretched out to make an epic out of a small story. It's a story that doesn't conform to a movie structure. It doesn't conform to a 3-act structure because it tells the actual story of this guy's life and his multiple tours in Iraq and what he did when he got back home. And I think, you know, as far as who would I recommend it to, I would say that as long as you're okay with R-rated violence, as long as you're okay with some pretty harrowing war shots, there are a couple of scenes that are really pretty intense to watch. And I don't say that lightly because I think a lot of people should see this movie, but I will say that if you're squeamish or if you know you're going to have trouble with things like child endangerment and those sorts of things, probably stay away from it. But solid recommendation for me. What'd you think?
Well, you can always count on Clint Eastwood for a good film. Mm-hmm. Whatever you say about him in his personal life, you know, he makes good movies. This one is no exception. It's great. Every moment of it they take full advantage of it. No second is wasted. It is just really good from start to finish. There were a couple scenes in there where I was like, the scene with the baby, which we'll get to, but it was just a solid movie. Now, would I recommend it? Yes, definitely go see it. A couple things you might want to take into account. If you're a veteran, it of course takes place in a war, so you know, you definitely want to take that into consideration. If you are thinking about taking a veteran to it, you know, there's a lot of pretty awful stuff to see. And
that's a good point.
You want to be mindful of that. But outside of that, it's a good movie that I would recommend for pretty much anybody.
Cool. So that's the review. If that sounds good to you, go check it out. Don't let us spoil anything. Getting into the discussion side of it, there are some. I mean, it's an R-rated movie. It's about war. It's about things that really happened. As far as like the things, there's two things that stood out to me that were hard to watch. That might be hard to watch for other people. One was the scene where the kid gets tortured with the drill.
That was hard.
That was probably the hardest, like most uncomfortable, violent thing in the movie. And the other thing is the way that the sound editing was done. And it might have just been in our theater, but there's this weird thing where when they're in a battle and you can see the shooter on screen, his gun is not nearly as loud as a bunch of guns you can't see that are off screen. So it always sounds like there's a gun right next to your head that you can't see, but then all the action on screen is more muted. It's a really strange effect, a really strange choice. It's like the sound editor wanted to amp up how actiony or how almost like video gamey it feels when you're watching some of the action scenes. I just felt like there was always an extremely loud gun right over our heads, and it wasn't on screen. You know, when they were firing on screen, they were really muffled shots or that wasn't quite there. So that's something that I would say, like, you know, if you're if you're worried about like somebody having PTSD, I would wait till it's like out on home video, so you can turn the sound down, or at least not watch it in surround, because whatever's going on in like the rear channels is just, I don't know. I don't know what they were doing. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand why guns I can't see are louder than the ones I can.
Well, I'm not a veteran, so I have no expertise in this, but to me, the fact that everything around him was so loud, it made it feel more immersive, like I was kind of there.
No, I get that. What I don't get is why the shooting that happened on screen was quieter than the shooting that I couldn't see. That seemed really bizarre, and it was consistent. Like, every scene was like that.
Yeah.
It's just the way the sound design was done. So, you know, if you watched it on a television at home without surround, you wouldn't have the same problem so much.
Correct.
You know, there'd still be more noise coming out of the TV than you were seeing, but this was like wearing headphones and having like anything that happened on screen not be in your headphones, but then just a bunch of random gunfire going on in your headphones, and it would jump with the edits. Like, it fit the way they did it, but it was strange. Anyway, I've said enough about that. Bradley Cooper's performance is really solid. I liked the fact that they did a good job of building up his sort of mental break, the point where he wasn't really engaged and he attacked the dog and all that kind of stuff. And then they very, very quickly jump into him helping out the other vets and all of that. Lots of things where I felt like they could have easily spent a half an hour, you know, going through him deciding to help the injured vets, and they don't go that way. Which is why I say the pacing is really good. The story is really good. Like, as soon as you see the story start to go in a direction, it just goes. You know, it might jump a year ahead or it might jump a week ahead, but the story just continues to move.
Yeah. I absolutely loved it. There was a little bit in there that it kind of felt like it almost was about to turn into a revenge film.
With him going after the Mustafa?
With him going after the butcher and the sniper for like a good third of the movie. It almost felt like a revenge film. But then you know, you never really lose the war. Even on the home front, you never lose the war because the sound is always there, you know. And it almost makes the war kind of like a character in the movie. Well,
yeah, and they make a point of, you know, the one guy gets shot and blinded, and they sort of go out on a revenge mission to like go out and try and, you know, get the guy, and end up getting another guy killed. And it shows, like, you know, revenge doesn't work. Like, none of this.
There was one thing I would have liked to see in the movie that wasn't in the movie.
Rocket?
Well, yeah, clearly. No, when he's going back over, he runs into his brother who's leaving.
Oh, yeah.
And you can clearly tell that his brother's not all there at the moment.
Yeah.
And then you never see his brother again.
That's true.
I really wish they would have followed that up.
Yeah, I wonder what the story is there. But again, I think it was like, his brother's only in the movie enough to show you sort of another side of him, or be somebody that he actually listens to. Yeah. Because he was all in for the next round, and his brother is like, no, not again, never again. I'm done. I'm out.
I enjoyed it, and you know, even though I had read the book and I knew what was going to happen, and of course, you know, I knew he was going to make it home.
Yeah.
There were some points like, oh my god, you know, the tension was at a fever pitch. It was great. It was done very, very well, and honestly, had we seen it around Christmas time, it probably would have been one of my favorites of last year.
Yeah, I mean, I counted it as a 2015 movie because that's when I saw it.
Yeah.
That's when it came out. And I would probably, it might end up on my top 20 if it had been out last year. It's certainly better than that other war movie that came out around Christmas, that did get a wide release around Christmas.
Unbroken.
The one by that other celebrity director. Yeah, you said it. But anyway, I enjoyed it. Bradley Snipes, Wesley Snipes. If you like the way we do this show, like the video, please subscribe, and check out all the written video reviews at dalemaxfield.com. Thanks for watching.